He looks to throw, looking deep downfield. He's got a receiver open. It is complete. That is Stevens for a touchdown.
The Bulldog Radio Network proudly presents the Coach Gray Show on 102.7 FM, Kearney's hometown radio station. And now, here are the hosts of the show, Mike Davis, Jim Dickerson, and Coach Josh Gray.
Yeah. I like it. I like that studio audience. Welcome to the Coach Gray Show. Coach Gray, welcome to the show, sir. Nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me again.
It is
always a treat.
It is our pleasure. I'm telling you, we just it's sort of like we just went on the air there, didn't we? We've gotten a little too familiar, I would say. We just keep talking and chatting. And I was going to say something else, but you know, when you're chatting about stuff that's not meaningful, it's you call that something that's you know what I'm talking about. We were doing some of that. So it was a good time, and welcome to the show, those of you who are out there listening on 102.7 FM or on our, you can listen right from the website if you'd like to. We've got a player right on there, MyTuner Radio, all of those things, so many ways to listen. And those of you who are watching know what an absolute pleasure it is to see what's going on, the live goings-on right here in the studio of 102.7 FM, controlled by the one and only Brian Watts. And no applause. There it is. Yeah, that way, people. The applause sign didn't come on. They just didn't know it was their turn to clap. So, and Jim Dickerson, my good buddy, and co-host. And he's,
I'm talking to Brian and I are talking.
Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't want to disturb that. You're
okay.
Pay attention in class.
Brian has corrected me. I was looking at something, and my data was wrong. Therefore, I have no more data.
That never happens.
No, never happens.
Welcome, Jim. Good seeing you.
Hey, I got a couple of things for you, Brian.
Please.
I just wanted to remind everybody, tomorrow we'll be covering the game. Pre-game starts at 6:40. The game is at 7 o'clock. It is homecoming, and I know everybody's supposed to be dressing up for Thursday, and today's dress-up is
Hawaiian Day.
Wow.
So you can see,
go, Coach. Good job.
Everybody here in the studio has participated.
We're all wearing our hula skirts.
Yeah.
You can't see
you
them.
Can't see that part.
Right.
My outfit here is a purple hula. This is the top part. You can't see the bottom, and that's all I have to say.
No coconut shells for you, though, today? I don't see those. Yeah.
I was,
Right.
but the FCC came in just before we started the broadcast, and they frowned upon my coconuts. So anyway,
Oh boy,
here we go.
This is where, right, absolutely. Where do we have little Hawaiian music?
Brian has
tiny
failed
bubbles,
us yet
maybe?
again. You
Yeah.
know, Brian's
Don Ho?
sweating.
Yeah, I know.
Brian's actually doing what they would do in Hawaii. He's sweating.
Right,
So we got that going for us.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to talk about, it's up to you guys. Do you want to do it later? We have a lot of people who have talked about naming the Bulldog. And so we have a lot of suggestions. You want to do that now or late? Do you want to do that at the end of the show? Well, hang on. It's not your show, Mike. Why am I looking at you?
I want to know what. Yeah, let's find out about the dog.
You want to go through some of the names?
Yeah, let's find out.
Let's go through some of those names right now, shall we? I've got my list right here. Where are we at here? Okay. These are some of them we have. Now, these are the ones that I can read because we did get a few that...
He's not kidding. There were some that we absolutely can't read.
There's also a couple on there where I want to... Do you guys ever see Princess Bride?
Been a while.
There was a couple names on there I wanted to go, you use that name, but I don't think it means what you think it means. But we'll leave that alone.
Right. I know the one you're referring to there, Jim.
Yeah. Coach, you okay?
Yep.
I'm good, man.
All right.
Solid.
And now, live from Kearney, Missouri, it's the Name the Bulldog. You feel free to chime in when you want. Here's the ones. These are kind of the top list. Bullwinkle, Tank, not bad.
I like Tank.
Lucky, Buzz. The only thing with Buzz that makes me think of Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and beyond.
Okay, that one's out.
Bully, Bully the
Bully
Bulldog. Yeah. But then somebody could go, you guys are a bunch of bullies.
Yeah.
Some people just ruin it for everyone.
Somebody
KB.
said KB, Kearney Bulldog.
Sorry, yeah.
Kind of like
So
that.
do you want to read some of these?
No, go ahead.
Here, you can read. Why?
Just so you know, the one that was
not
handed to the
reading that
coach
one? Thank you.
probably could be read, but might be read by our listeners to be in poor taste. Let's just put
Why
it
are
that
you?
way.
All it says is sniffles.
Yeah, Sniffles,
boy.
the dog.
What'd you
That's
think
what
of-
it said. Yep. Yeah,
So
I'll leave it there because I don't think it said Sniffles. I know it didn't.
I don't think you think it means what you think it means. Bruiser, did I say Bruiser?
You just did.
Okay. Thank you for that. But isn't Bruiser
Bruisers are
the mascot? So we
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
shouldn't
So
do that.
that one's out too. All right, mark that one off the list.
Bruno the bulldog.
bad.
Here's a funny one. Dude. Fuck
Here,
her.
dude.
Dude. So
He's the dude.
we could also do Marty. So those are the ones that are in the running right now. And if you want to put on our Facebook page, there it is, the name the bulldog. Put it on our Facebook page. If you have any other suggestions, we still ask that you keep it clean. Some of you didn't listen last time when we talked about that part.
Actually,
they were actually kind of funny.
yeah, for our entertainment value, go ahead and
I'm not gonna
knock yourselves out.
I'm not going to lie about it. We laughed at quite a few of them. So that's where we are, but we're still doing that. So anyway, the game tomorrow, 6:40 pregame, 7 o'clock at the game. They're still doing the restrictions, 2 tickets per
Yes, sir.
participant.
Yeah.
So if you don't have tickets, just listen, and you can do it on the air, online, 1027carnimo.com, or on the My Tuner Radio app. And I think that's all I've got. And they're going to do the I don't know how they're going to do the homecoming.
Pre-game, they're doing some of the announcing.
Are they going to do them down on the field?
Yeah.
Okay. So I still feel sorry for the people that are.
Well, the parents will be there though, right? I mean, for the homecoming.
I believe
candidates.
so, yeah, for the candidates.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
just-
well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Crazy times.
It is.
You
I know.
And
Well,
then everybody's got to, that's the thing with it. You kind of get through it and do the best you can, and
I think that's
still
right.
celebrate it is homecoming week. We've got our days, and trying to be as normal as possible, and the kids I think are doing a good job of that.
Yeah, and so far so good.
And I guess it would have happened by now. There's no parade. Clearly.
Yeah, there's no parade.
Yeah, that.
Well,
Typically it's on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of where I think the Chamber of Commerce stepped in and was sort of helping out
Yeah,
with
right. Yeah, that.
sort of a faux parade, or what was that, Jim?
This thing fires up
kinda-
every now and
I
then.
saw
It's
that,
my
yeah.
fault.
All right, let's get down to business here. I have 2 words for last Friday night's game. Cole Keller. He was the quarterback of the Grain Valley Eagles, and 38-14 win over our Kearney Bulldogs. That Cole Keller is, I believe he had 3 touchdowns, two running, and then one or there was a 3 running.
Yeah.
I can't.
He had 2.
All right, I'm losing track because I saw him out there quite a bit. That's a good team, no doubt about it. I think Kearney did a pretty nice job against what appears to be a team that is rolling right now. They're now 5-0, right?
Yes, sir.
So talk about the game a little bit, Coach. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough game, and we felt pretty prepared, and the guys were pretty confident going in, and we had some. Obviously, we didn't get off the field when we wanted to on 3rd down, I think, and they had some drives and didn't get some stops that we needed to do to obviously get off the field defensively. And offensively, at times we struggled in picking up the first down for us to keep moving the chains. So obviously that's not what you want in a game where you're running some 3 and outs and doing that offensively and not stopping them. I mean, that's pretty evident. But I think overall, we learned a lot from that football game. I think playing that competition that we've done thus far,
right?
We've learned, I think, through those 5 games, we've learned some lessons from our losses, and we've identified those and are moving with the positive piece on those and moving forward with that. And I think the second half when we came out, we did some nice things. Some guys started making some plays, making them bunt, and defensively and offensively, we were able to move the ball a little bit and get a couple scores. So, we kind of looked at that and move forward with that as we kind of go forward. And that's, the biggest piece that you kind of have to do after a loss. And, after the first 5 games, kind of reflecting back and looking back of where we've been and continuing to go forward and improving each week. And I definitely, from the coach's eye, we definitely see that, and sometimes that doesn't translate where we see improvements, maybe with the score, with, what people, if they're watching it, may see. And we are making some strides. Our young guys are getting better. Our younger guys are getting more experience and are learning each week, and as well as our veteran guys that are on our team and our leaders. And our leadership continues to grow, and the guys feed off of that. And, we're excited to get Game 6 rolling and go on.
So we've gotten a lot of questions on this, and there's a lot of confusion, I think, because it changed. But people have asked about how our schedule gets picked. Why are we always some people don't even realize, like the Indians, the Fort Osage, that's a Class 5. Eagles are a Class 5. So
Platte County is now
a 5.
Yep.
How do we, why do we get that schedule? How do they pick the schedule? And moreover, I don't think a lot of people understand that there are class differences to begin with. It's not like the NFL where everybody, you could play anybody. It's all supposed to be even. It's just not, mainly because the way the population is and you can't control that. But how does that work, and what class are you got? Just kind of a basic so people understand. We're
a Class 4 school. We're fortunate that the Suburban Conference sets our schedule for us. Some other schools and other conferences, or out of conference, I guess, we have the conference sets that schedule for us, and we like that competition. We feel that that's going to make us a better football team. We think that that's where we need to be, and who we need to be competing with, and so that's kind of how it gets set.
Well, I mean, like next year, though, is it? I mean, I guess the question would be, how did we sort of get hung with 4 Class 5 schools? So
that gets set. It's a 2-year cycle, and then they reclassify. They just set that up, the reclassification.
Yeah,
that would be every year.
I see.
Where they do that, but the schedule gets set for a 2-year cycle, a home and away cycle off that. So,
and I would expect a coach to say, "Look, we'll play whoever they put in front of us."
Right.
I know that, and I get that completely.
But yeah, you don't get to go.
Yeah,
we
don't want to play those guys. Yeah, we want it easier.
The weird one, I thought, and maybe it's because I'm not a smart man. The weird thing,
I'm not a smart man,
exactly.
but I know what love is.
Well done, Brian. Well done, sir.
I'm glad you picked that up.
Hang on.
Yep.
I have to compose myself for a second. You want to look at these names again, Coach? What was I even? Oh, I know what it was. DeSoto.
Yeah.
How did that?
So that's a kind of a battle weekend, or they try to cross state line to do a game each year different. We just haven't done that before, and this is the first year on that cycle that we'll go to DeSoto, and then next year they'll come to us.
And
so
my stupid question of the day:
Battle of the Border, maybe, is what they kind of call those games.
There'll be more than one for those of you following along. My first stupid question of the day: is DeSoto even playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
I didn't know with the because I know some Kansas schools are not, and
it's been kind of back and forth. And I know early on they weren't able. I don't know. Early on, I think that they weren't playing across the state line, and then
there were all sorts. Well, it was, and there were some districts over there that weren't even
playing.
Yeah, they weren't playing at all. Right. So I didn't know if.
Yeah,
they're all back.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Shawnee Mission said no at first, and now they're playing.
Right.
Yep. We've got grandkids playing in the Shawnee Mission district, and they are happy to be playing. Believe me. Did you know, Jim, that my dad had a 1957 DeSoto? Were you aware of that?
Well, there's two Two things on that. Number one,
We're going to break, too, so be brief.
oh, well, I wondered why the camera was still on you when I was talking, but that's a technical thing. So to answer your question, number one, no, I didn't know that. And number two, and maybe more importantly, what?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Right?
Train wreck.
I want to be the engineer of that train today. I'm trying hard to do that, just that, and you did it. Thank you, Brian. You're listening to the Coach Gray Show. You might be watching the Coach Gray Show, which is even more fun. We're naming dogs. We're talking about DeSotos. It's all kinds of fun. Half of you people have never even heard of a DeSoto. Let me tell you, it was a cool car. It had Batman wings. I mean, it was the coolest car of all times. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Got a lot of wonderful sponsors. Give them a listen.
Always remember to thank the underwriters for their support of KPGZ.
Whether you're a large or small business, or just want internet at your home, Casey Coyote is here to help with all your internet needs. We pride ourselves on being a redundant, resilient, and reliable network to provide you with the best internet available. You can give Casey Coyote a call and talk to one of our local, friendly customer service representatives to see if you pre-qualify for our service at your home or business. Casey Coyote at 816-866-3038.
Injuries can happen anywhere, playing sports or playing with your kids or grandkids.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathland with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
Legendary Lawn Care. That's right, Legendary is your one-stop lawn equipment center. They've got over 40 years of experience with technicians who service all makes and models of lawn equipment. 4853 Southeast Highway PP in Holt. 816-320-3878. And don't forget to look for the special coupon on 1027carneymo.com/coupons. Let the friendly and knowledgeable staff at Legendary Lawn Care find the right legendary service for your needs.
Friday Night Sports. When athletes compete, they give it their all. At Liberty Hospital Sports Medicine, we're staying open Friday nights after the lights to treat the bumps and bruises that are part of the game. At Liberty Hospital Sports Medicine, we'll have physicians available to evaluate and treat right on the spot. So after the lights, remember Liberty Hospital Sports Medicine every Friday night from 9 to 11 p.m.
And you're back. I almost said Kearney Live. You're back on the Coach Gray Show. That's where we are today. It's a lot of fun having Coach Gray in here every Thursday at noon during the football season. Got a big game coming up tomorrow night against I love it, the Winnetonka Griffins, and we'll be on the air. Jim and I both will be there at 6:40 for the pregame, and then 7 o'clock the play-by-play starts. So give us a listen. It's going to be fun. We were talking about the 38-14 loss against Grain Valley, who's doing a pretty terrific job this year at 5-0, and talked about some of the players that obviously that did a good job for Grain Valley. But there are also a couple of guys that we've got that I think, as we look down the road, Coach, we've got sophomores and juniors that are doing a terrific job. And what I tend to see more of, excuse me, in your group this year is a lot of sophomores that are playing. And there was one, obviously Jake Lowry had he ran for 6 yards for a touchdown, and terrific guy. We watch him just get every week. Just
he came in.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of speed and he's got some. He's very deceptive. I think when you watch him at running back, and he did a really nice job of coming in and making some plays, and ultimately scoring one of the touchdowns. So
right.
A lot of promise in him.
Yeah, and I guess as we look at these games, we talk about playing up with quotes around it, air quotes, But these kids are getting a chance. I think where you start to see an advantage. And tell me if I'm wrong. If they're a young guy, and I think the difference between a sophomore playing on Friday nights out there with the varsity against really good competition, that has to have an impact on their play going into next year, and certainly by the time they're a senior, they will have seen a lot of varsity play under the lights. So tell me how that plays out.
Yeah, I think that gets them. Obviously, they're on the field because they're capable and they're ready to be on the field. That's ultimately where that lies. And as they continue to go through this season with the sophomores that we got going, that just brings them back again. Going into next year, they're seasoned and. They kind of know what to expect a little bit more and then utilize that leadership as they continue down the road. And same thing with our juniors this year, that this class that we've got of juniors. We've got some great seniors that are great leaders and have really done a great job of leading that junior and sophomore group. That's just going to add to their basket as they start up next year. And, and they continue this year to do a great job. With Luke Nolan, you've seen returning and at safety, and Joe Marshall at corner has done a great job. Cale Conway playing some defensive end for us now has really stepped into that and done a good job. Will Lincoln has stepped in and has done a fantastic job for us at doing some fullback.
Right.
We've got some guys there that are doing really well, and Zach Grace, our tight end, has really stepped in and really has come along and done a really nice job. So, that's good to see, and when they can produce as sophomores, that's what you want. That's why they're on the field. So,
well, what are the things that you can notice as a coach? As we get through these games, as they get more and more experience, are there things that do they ever approach you and say, "Hey, I understand this thing now. This play makes more sense to me now," or are there other things that sort of cues that you can work on as a coach to recognize that, wow, the light has come on for them?
Yeah, I think as they continue, if you look back to the beginning of the season as they were going, I think, some of them, weren't playing yet. And then they've kind of gradually stepped into some of those positions and have done a good job. And, I think that light bulb kind of comes on and they get their feet wet and they get that experience and, they come back that next week and they're better. And, ultimately that's the key is each day to get yourself better for the next game and for the next, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think confidence is palpable. I think to a certain extent, and you're able to see it. I think by just by the play in the following weeks. I think somebody that's standing there that's wide open and drops a ball one week, I think they learn from those sorts of things, and then come back next week and they're probably not going to drop it.
Right, and that's for the whole team. I think that, like you said, the confidence level is such a key piece, and our guys are a lot more confident now than they were then at the beginning of the season, and feeling confident in themselves, being able to execute and do that. So,
you talked about Zach Grace, by the way, number 87, and we saw him just out of a couple of games ago, Jim. I think we said, "Wow, who's that kid?" And he looks good. Because you see that 87 on there, and I was like, that's tight end right there. And he's not afraid to block. Looks good out there. He's caught a couple of balls. In fact, had him here at one for a 17-yard catch last week, which was probably
a key moment.
Right.
That's right.
That's what you want. And I think what's cool about that is he knows at that position he's got to be a blocker as well.
Right. And being a being a tight end is not an easy. I mean, you've got to be a big enough, kind of like a tackle.
Yeah.
And be able to block like a lineman, and then you're a wide receiver. And he does a good job. And continues to really, when you watch him in practice, because he's on some special teams as well. But and you watch him in practice, and it kind of sparked a moment here when you talk about a light bulb just kind of clicking, and you see those things, and that's what you want to see is the growth of the team, and not only him, but the rest of the players, wherever that's at. So, that's always a good thing to see.
That was me. I admit it. Yep. Cheers.
Oh, good gravy.
It was my turn.
Normally that's something I do, but I think that's kind of interesting the way the tight end position has changed over the years, because if you go back to the 80s and that, no one would ever dream, well, early 80s, I guess, no one would ever even dream of using the tight end for anything other than blocking. Right. And now it's kind of assumed that position has got to be multi-talented and do all those things. So
there's times we split him out, and he's lined up as a wide receiver, and that says a lot to his capabilities and where we'd like to have him advance to.
He's a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's got the speed along with the size, and who doesn't like that
That's
on
right.
your football team?
That's right.
So yeah, no, he's fun to watch, and we keep an eye on him. And when I see him out there, I'm always saying, look out.
So who else has been kind of fun to watch in a position that traditionally was not really thought, as one owner or not one general manager said was irrelevant, if I recall, is the kicker position.
Oh, yes.
And wasn't it Carl Peterson said Mr. Irrelevant?
Yep.
And that now has turned out, especially in today's game, to be one of the key components of any game.
Oh, yeah.
Is the kicker. And I still say if we get in a position where we need a substantial field goal, I'm pretty confident that Breedlove can make it. His kicks are something to behold.
He spends a lot of time on that, and through practice, and he's we have a lot of faith in him and his leg and his abilities, and he's a hardworking kicker, but he also plays linebacker. So
right.
He's got that little bit of grit to him that he's mix it up a little bit inside. So a linebacker kicker combo. Back when I played, I think our kicker in high school was our guard, and he would go put the square toe on and boot it. Michael Hurd, he would step back there and boot it, and it was only extra points if we would kick one.
See, we didn't in my day.
Or we'd just go for two.
We didn't even kick extra point. Why? What would be the point? Because it was never going anywhere. The guy that was our kicker was also, if I remember, was our water guy. We just kick. You didn't kick, and in fact, you did everything in your power. We literally could have fourth down at the 9-yard line, and you'd run with 9 to go. You know what I mean? And you'd run because you weren't going to kick because you were going to miss.
Right.
So anyway,
well, speaking of kickers,
wait a minute. Why are you snoozing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just about to go to sleep there,
You were
Jim.
talking about your 53 DeLorean or whatever car.
You weren't paying attention.
No, I don't.
Let's talk about somebody who can punt, because I think it's really important, because this week, Ian Acosta, number 5, had 4 punts for 169 yards. He averaged 42.3 yards per punt. I will take that any day. I mean, the guy gets back there and just not only can he kick the ball a long way, but he can also put it on the money. He can aim the ball, put it back in the corner. I know a couple times it's rolled out of bounds, unfortunately, but man, the guy has got a leg on him. And let me just real quickly, because we talked about Ian Acosta and the guy we were just talking about, Braxton Breedlove.
That'd be Breedlove.
Right, thank you. And we have mistakenly referred to the punter in some of our on-the-air calls as Braxton Breedlove.
I did it one time, and he won't let it go.
No. I'm just saying it because I did the same thing on our newscast last week.
That's true.
So I'm taking full responsibility.
The funny thing was, we sat in here and talked about it for 20 minutes.
Right.
And Mike walked right over into the newsroom over
and
there
said,
and
Braxton,
did it again.
a Braxton Breedlove punt. And it was the punt, the beautiful punt that Ian Acosta, who is our Stables Player of the Week this week, had absolutely put right down on the half-inch line.
Yeah.
And that's when ultimately the defense held, and then we were able to block a punt and get a safety out of the thing.
He's able to flip the field for
Yes,
us. He does
yes.
a good job. Great coverage, and I think you ask him, it's a combination of everything. And he's been a great asset to try and flip the field and put the defense in a good position. And that's what you want your punter to do.
So I will say publicly, Ian, I'm sorry.
I know, I am too.
I apologize.
Because it was
fault.
such a beautiful play, and we just want to make sure you got full credit for that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Braxton's like, oh,
I know it. But congratulations to Ian Acosta for being our Stables 102.7 FM Player of the Week. Nice job.
And so, along with special teams, going back to Luke Nolan and his returns, which are phenomenal, how much of that is Luke, and how much of it is the way it's all set up? And you guys, just special teams, have made an area for him.
Yeah. Coach Daniels, our special teams coordinator, does a great job in setting up our returns and, obviously who's blocking who and setting everything up on that end. And, a lot of it's timing is key, and making sure the guys in front are blocking who they need to block. And then Luke finds the hole. And so
quickly,
it's a combination of both. Obviously, the blocking is a huge piece in that, but a lot of that credit also goes to Luke and Joe Marshall, who's back there with him as well, who does a good job of
a double threat.
Has had some nice returns and done some nice things. So it's a combo of both.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too, is because everybody, of course, remembers when you return it for a touchdown, but there are so many where the returns are 20, 25, 30, 35 yards, which is huge because it gives you good starting field position right out of the gate.
And and a lot of times on those, we've been like one block away from busting them. Right. So it's, and we pride ourselves in spending a lot of time and working on all of our special teams. And I think it makes a big difference. Those are the plays that you count on the most when it's that time. That one play that you have on special teams is such a important play.
Coach, you're going to have to help me with the pronunciation on this one. Number 15, Landon
Gottfried.
No, good to know that.
Yep.
Now he helped.
I have a feeling we might be saying that again.
He might, yeah.
How is it?
Gottfried.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Goepferich. Gottfried.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll just have to write GOP. We'll get this right, though. At least it'll sound right. He did a really nice job in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he came in.
Talk about this guy.
No. He came in at the quarterback spot and really showed some composure and did some poise in there and did a really nice job of kind of orchestrating the offense there and put a drive together and came down and scored.
We're still, Jim and I are trying to remember.
Trying to say
over here having a conversation.
Gottfried, yeah.
And he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
So, and we talked about this a little bit. This is a little sidetrack, but it's kind of interesting to watch. We've been watching the development from a sporting standpoint of not only football, but volleyball, basketball. Well, basketball hadn't started yet, but volleyball, softball, all the sports, swimming. And it looks like this up-and-coming class is just they're dominating
every sport at Kearney.
Sport.
Yeah.
So, and these guys that are coming in and stepping in the fourth quarter, not disappointing.
No, I think our young guys that have the opportunity to come into the game have really done like last week again or 2 weeks ago, came in and did a really nice job, and that says a lot about them of having the poise to come into a varsity game and varsity competition and come in and compete and get after it a little bit on a Friday night.
And if I remember, the guys that came in 2 2 weeks ago, they were playing. I think Ruskin still had their first team guys in.
Yes,
if
they
I
did.
recall.
They had quite a few of them in
Might
there.
have, yeah.
Most of them. I'm sure there were a couple that were out. But so it's not like they were playing third string guys that had never been on the field before.
Right.
So good job for them.
Yeah, no, it's neat to see. It really is. We're getting ready to take another break. You're listening to the Coach Gray Show. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Say thank you to these local underwriters who support KPGZ.
Oak Point Assisted Living and Memory Care. What else would you expect? After all, you're home.
When I looked into an assisted living facility, I was immediately attracted to Oak Point's amenities. I get 3 delicious meals daily in restaurant-style dining areas and a trained staff on site.
To set up a tour or learn more information, please contact Tara at 816-628-0075 or visit the website at provisionliving.com.
I'm Sean Barber, owner of Stables Local Kitchen and Patio in Kearney. Stables is a Kearney thing. We love to be the place where people get together. Stables features a full menu with a scratch kitchen, offering lunch and dinner options, as well as a weekend breakfast starting at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sundays. Stables has been a proud member of the Kearney community for almost 20 years. You can check us out online at stables816.com, and Stables is part of the True 816 family. Eat, drink, local.
Scott Accounting and Tax provides our clients with quality accounting, tax preparation, payroll, and business creation services. Small town friendliness, big town expertise. We make it our business to know your business inside and out. You can trust Scott Accounting and Tax to get your taxes done quickly, correctly, and on time. Appointments now accepted by calling 816-352-3320. That's Scott Accounting and Tax at 816-352-3320.
More reliable power means more of what you love. You expect your lights and appliances to turn on at the flip of a switch, and so does Platte Clay Electric Cooperative. That's why Platte Clay is working hard to make power more reliable in the Northland. We exist for one purpose: to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. To learn more about their plan to reduce outages across the Northland, visit www.pcec.coop/reliability. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative.
Kearney Bulldog football is here, and you can listen to the game with live play-by-play action on the Bulldog Radio Network right here on 102.7 FM or our live stream at 1027carneymo.com. You can also find us by downloading the TuneIn or MyTuner radio apps on your phone and searching for KPGZ.
The ball is loose. It's recovered by Kearney. Kearney with a 5. Touchdown. Touchdown, Kearney Bulldogs.
The Bulldog Radio Network will broadcast the game on Friday, October 2nd, as the Bulldogs take on the Winnetonka Griffins. The 102.7 pregame show starts at 6:40 and the kickoff is at 7 o'clock.
Laughlin finds an open seam up the middle. 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Garrett Laughlin on a 42-yard run.
Kearney Bulldog Football 2020. Catch the fever.
And welcome back to the Coach Gray Show. I'm your host, Mike Davis, along with my good friend and co-host, Jim Dickerson, and the one and only, the namesake of the show, Coach Josh Gray. Good seeing you. As always, Coach, it's always fun on Thursdays.
You guys want to see my Mike Davis impression?
Oh, here we go.
Watch this.
Well, that's fine. That's just fine. That's right. All right. Yeah. So I could have said something there that I just almost did, too, and I'm glad I didn't. Where were we? I know where this is where we're going to be tomorrow night. We're going to be playing Winnetonka, and it's a home game. It is homecoming, by the way. And your voice of the Kearney Bulldogs, this guy right here, Jim Dickerson, he's sitting right next to me. That's right. He will be calling the game, and I will be right behind him, almost literally in the little booth we're in, and I'll be commenting about any number of things. You just aren't. Yep. I will be commenting.
And he'll be going, Jim, did you see
exactly
that?
Right.
And I'm like, well, first of all, yes,
I
I'm
will,
in front of you, and
indeed,
I did see that.
I will speculate on the number of pancakes that the opposing linemen have been eating, among other things. There are a number of things. Those are the colorful observations I make as the color commentary of the game. So, right? It is the inside look at the sport of football at the high school level. And tune in. You'll hear more. You'll love it. It'll be great. So let's talk a little bit about what we know or don't know about the Winnetonka Griffins.
Yeah, they're on a hot
5-0.
They're 5-0.
Right.
They've been playing some really good football. And, as always, every week we're going to have to be on top of our game. And, I think preparation is obviously key every week. And they've got a good quarterback.
Well,
I said that
right. Carefully.
So he has both legs.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback.
Excellent.
Yep. He can throw it. They've got a great receiver. And
by the way, sorry to interrupt, but both of those guys, I recognize their names from last year, which means they've just got another year under their belt. We talk about experience, and both of those guys were good last year. So
we definitely have our hands full tomorrow, and they've got a running game that's been very successful for them as well. So we're going to have to be on point offensively and defensively to make sure defensively we shut them down and are making the plays we need to make and tackling and alignment and assignment and all those things that you obviously work on during the week. And I think our guys are up for it, and I think offensively we've improved this week off of last week's loss to Green Valley, and I think our guys are focused in and ready to go and are playing ready to play the game for sure. And being homecoming is a big thing. I know it's going to look a little bit different in the stands than it normally does, but you want to represent, and for us, we want to protect the K and make sure that we are doing our part for homecoming.
I was going to say, from the games I've watched this year, listen, we've never been blown out. I mean, I just don't see that. And in fact, some of the losses I've seen, and I think you'd agree with me, there are fundamentals that were overlooked at critical times, and a missed tackle here and there can equal 3 touchdowns. I mean, it's that easy for a thing to go wrong and get out of hand. So as we talked about even a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the team coming out a little bit sloppy on tackling, and then at halftime, the whole thing changed. I mean, they came back and nobody missed a tackle in the second half. And I think Jim addressed it just sort of briefly a week or so ago. But how do you sort of get these kids to understand that is that minuscule difference between a touchdown scored against you or you stopping a play for a loss? How do you just instill that sort of knowledge?
And I think, I don't know if it's knowledge. I think a lot of it is they know some of the things that I've seen is I think we play a little too tight, where we're not, just get out there and play the game. We know what we need to do. I think sometimes, and I don't know if this is us or not, but I think sometimes you can, I've seen teams and players where they've, over my years, where you try so hard that you get in your own head and you play hesitant as opposed to just playing.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that we've tackled this week. And as far as coaching that, I think that's just more of an awareness that our guys are capable. It's, playing a game, regardless of football, basketball, whatever it is, you can't be afraid to make a mistake. When you play afraid to make a mistake, you play tight. And then obviously that's when you make a mistake, when you overanalyze, you overthink things, you play hesitant instead of just going.
I think anybody who has played a round of golf understands that you're in a zone, and you know what a zone is. I mean, in almost any sport, and I think basketball maybe more so than football because you're constantly throwing the ball to the hoop, and if it didn't go in the hoop, you don't score the points. And I think you just know what it feels like when you're there, when you're in the zone, when it's flowing and everything is going right. Man, I mean, if you could just share the juju that goes into being in a zone.
Yeah,
my golf game would be a lot better if I could. But yes.
with the guys, I think that's the confidence factor in themselves, and I think our guys have got confidence.
Right.
I mean, it's not a lack of it. It's I think sometimes we get to the point where we get lined up and we start to overthink, and then when you overthink, you play hesitant, and I think we've seen that a few times when we're not playing like we normally would play.
Right.
And our guys are growing and taking strides and remedying that. I think that's where you see sometimes a slow first half and a solid finish, or where it's up and down, and you can't have that up and down play. You got to be consistent with it, and as you attack that.
Well, Mike, you brought up something that I was kind of debating with myself if I was going to even mention it, but now I will. The interesting thing is you guys always preach is the NGU, never give up. And that makes such a huge difference, because what I did is I went back and I kind of watched the Ruskin game, and then I watched last week's game. And there were some things that happened in the first quarter and a half that were very similar but reversed. But the difference was, and again, I can say this as a Ruskin graduate, the Eagles seem to...
Proud. You should be proud.
I am at times. The Eagles seem to give up. They just seem to give up. We talked about the play where the ball dropped in the end zone and the guy just stared at it. The Bulldogs in last week's game did not, and in fact began to do exactly what you're talking about, fix this, correct that, and all that. And what Mike said makes a huge difference. One play makes a difference. So what happened was you were constantly in the game. And there were many comments that were made during the game from the announcers that were doing the game is, Kearney's still in this one play, and we've got they were Eagles announcers.
Sure. They're actually quite complimentary.
Yeah, they said, we got to be careful because one play and we're in trouble. Well, I didn't say we're in trouble, but they're right back in this thing. And that's the difference between staying with it, staying focused, and do not give up, because you can bring it back. And then that plays into what you said. One play here, one play there, and that's a different outcome. Right. But you were never out of the game. I mean, completely 70-20 out of the game.
Right. And I think that's what we're learning. Like I said, those things that we're learning in this first half of the season, or the first third of the season, is how do we manage that to where we make those plays from the start. And like I said, I think we're in the process of continuing to learn that, and we're seeing that how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, when and I can tell you this now, but we kind of joked at the 30 points that we had against Ruskin at halftime. Was it 30 points? Yeah. I think we had, and I was joking about how, hey, you guys, you think we were up in the booth? You guys are off the field, and at halftime, and I'm thinking, you think we could score another 30? Well, it turns out you scored another 40. So, but there was something about the way that the offense was just on all cylinders, and and playing so well, and everything was so smooth, and everything was going so well. That's that zone that you could see, you could feel it in the stadium. Understandably, Ruskin was having some trouble, but I think that what we saw that night was, again, if there's a way to sort of bottle that sort of being in the zone, or just having that smooth feeling of just being right at the top of your game. I mean, I realize that's the whole trick about football, especially getting all 11 players to do it at the same time.
But isn't that part of what the coach is talking about too?
Yes.
They got into a zone because they were relaxed.
Yes.
And it was all working.
Yes.
That's right.
And then when you turn the tables and you go to Green Valley, and we've talked about this before, the play doesn't work exactly like it did in practice. So then you tense up. You
Yes.
know,
And then you're afraid to make a mistake.
Exactly.
And then-
And you're not just play the game. Do what you're supposed to do. You know your job, but relax and have fun with it. Because when the guys are having fun, you know, it kind of like the Ruskin thing. I guarantee they were just relaxed. They're like, I'm going to be fine. And the plays were really working
just
out
flawless
well.
execution.
And that's where you have to kind of fight through that adversity piece.
Right.
And, you know, and that's how we try to replicate our practices, you know, and to put them in situations where, you know, we put the offense against the defense and put them in some adverse conditions of situations. And, you know, I think we've done a good job of that, especially the last couple of weeks and getting them game ready that way. And so they know how to get through those. All right, something didn't go well. Well, that's that play. We got one more. We got another down, or we got another quarter. We got, you know, all these things, a lot of time left in the game. How do you fight through that to still continue to play relaxed and free and you know, with that swagger as you take the field?
I like that. Yeah, swagger.
But you even see that. I mean, it's easy to sit here and go.
It's easy to say.
Oh, yeah, we
sit
can.
here and go.
Sure.
Don't get frustrated because you see it on all levels. You see it in the NFL because they usually script out the first 8 plays or so,
Right.
and the first 3 go horribly wrong, and you can see those guys getting frustrated, and they're like, "What in the world?" And then they come out again and go 3 and out, and even at the professional level, it's easy to sit there and go, you know what? We got 4 quarters here. That didn't work and that didn't work. So let's do this. Everybody calm down, relax, eat your pancakes, and let's move on.
That's those pancakes.
But it's easy to say, but trying to turn that into practice is
right.
And I get it. I mean, that's the beauty of coaching. You know, if you can instill that spirit into, you know, to turn swagger into being in the zone and being confident but not overly so, and there's that fine line you can cross it, which happens periodically, but it is, I think, one of the things that makes particularly, I think, the sport of football so fascinating, because it is such an emotional sport. It's emotionally driven, and because without it, if you don't have the excitement and the emotion behind it, you know, all the weightlifting and the strength and the speed in the world is not going to help you if somebody else has it and you don't.
Right.
But I will say, I think it's a great. There's more to it. It's not just a sport; it's a great teaching tool.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
the things you guys are instilling, to never give up and all that sort of thing, will play out for the rest of their lives. Yeah, and everything they do. And so when it comes to, you know, getting a job or whatever else, and you go in with an attitude of you know, I can do this and this is going to work, or
I think what you're talking about, Jim, is character. And I mean,
character.
So hopefully you're starting with good character guys. We know you are because we've met them. We know.
Oh yeah.
And but as you sort of transform character into that, you know, finding the zone and the swagger and the balance of all of the above, that's where winners come from. And man, it's there. We're so close. And I know you see it. You're the coach, but we see it too. And we just, you know, wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Against the Winnetonka Griffins. They're 5-0, but somebody's got to beat them this year. And
they're going to be 5-1.
It's what I'm thinking, Jim, and I don't mind saying it. We're not going to jinx anybody here.
So
That's
2
nonsense.
things before we go. Number 1, speaking of winners, wanted to give a shout out to the quarterback club. Because a lot of those pictures that you're seeing during the show, they took, and they allow us to use those. So thank you very much for those. Those are great shots, and we love getting those in. And I'm going to tell you a little-known fact, Coach. Today is my birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
So you know what you can give me as a gift?
I'm afraid.
What?
A victory tomorrow.
All right.
That's all I want.
Okay.
A Bulldog victory tomorrow is all I want.
Oh, man. Are
And
we about to wrap
I'll
this up?
have the happiest 27th birthday.
27th. Dang, all right.
Oh, man, it's always fun with Coach Gray on the Coach Gray Show. Thanks so much for being with us. Don't forget, we're going to start tomorrow night with a pregame at 6:40. It's a home game. It's homecoming, and Jim Dickerson and I will have the play-by-play starting at 7. Let's get out there and let's win a football game tomorrow night, folks. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you next week on the Coach Gray Show.